Hi, Kylie here and welcome to my plan with me for July 2025. So this month's theme is succulents. And succulents I've drawn quite a few times. I've had it as previous themes in my bullet journal. I included a collection of them in my calendar last year, and I also have a print of succulents that I sell at markets. Plus I've put them on cards and different bits and pieces as well. And normally my July theme is celebration because it's my birthday month, but I decided because the way that I themed things out for this year, I basically go, something from nature, so animals or plants or whatever, and then something that is sort of designed and made by humans, so, travel and the different themes that my brain can't recollect at this point in time. It's too early in the morning when I'm doing this. But doing succulents for this one, I decided I'd do something a little bit different. So normally when I draw succulents, they're really simple. It's a pot and a plant. Really nothing more detailed than that usually. For my title page, I decided I'd set myself a little bit of a challenge, and I've got two pots of succulents that are like a collection of succulents, like most of us often do if we grow succulents. Like you're normally growing like a little pot with a couple of different ones in there, and that's what I decided I would do instead. So on the left-hand side, there's a side view. And the one that I'm drawing at the moment is on the right-hand side. It's a lot more detailed. It's a top-down view of a sort of succulent pot. And I really enjoy drawing succulents. Like it's a little bit therapeutic. It's a little bit zen because all you've got to do is like pick a leaf shape and sort of do them in a bit of a circular growing out type process. So they're not overly challenging for the most part, because you'll notice if you're looking at this, you can just see the pencil outlines. I haven't penciled any of these in. I've basically just drawn a blob of this is where a succulent is going to go. And then, a little bit of a shape. Like for the title page, I did it very simply because I can freehand these pretty well. I've drawn lots of leaves over the last 10 years, if not a lot longer than that. It's quite sort of easy to do. So it's halfway through the year. That is shocking, and I sort of can't believe that that's true, but it is. So there you go. The colour palette I chose to use for this is my Winsor & Newton travel set, which comes with this cute little brush, but I'm not using that because it's teeny tiny. I'll talk about June in a second, but I'm going to bleat about the watercolours in the bullet journal. And I'm going to try to, because I will tell you this is the second time I've recorded the voiceover because I bleated just a little bit too much about the watercolours. So I am going to try and keep this quite simple. This watercolour palette I quite like. I've used it offline for a number of things. I think I might have actually used it for something in the last bullet journal as well. I quite like the colours. I haven't used it a massive amount, but there's a really nice selection of colours and the tonality and everything lets me blend the colours really into a nice, like really broad collection of colours. So it's great. The problem is the paper that is in this bullet journal. So I will say this is an old Archer and Olive one. It's probably about 4 years old. And normally when I was buying them previously, if I bought them from Archer and Olive, I'd always buy a few of them because shipping is so expensive. So this one has sat in my cupboard for a number of years, and so it's not like the current journals are. I will point that out. The quality is different. And I've mentioned it before, like in previous months as I started using this journal, that it doesn't take colour really well. It doesn't take water really well. The pages warp quite easily. and it also doesn't display the colour really well. It doesn't look as so bad in the video, but the colours have really flattened out, and yeah, that is a little bit annoying, but it's life. This is, after all, my diary. This is my work journal, so I do use it as art practice, but it's not art as such, like in the respect of, all these pages have dots on them. I'm not using these things for anything else apart from my bullet journal. So it's fine. I know what the limitations are, but this sort of just annoyed me a bit. So much so I changed the colour palette halfway through the journal to see if it improves things, and there's a little bit of improvement. But anyway. So June was a bit busy, as my first half of the year has been. I'm looking forward to July being a bit slower. I do have a few bits and pieces on, but it is definitely going to be way slower. And I don't have much client work at all heading into like sort of July. And I don't know, I'm okay about that because I'd like to have a bit more time to get some of my stuff done, which I'll talk about in a second. But the next bit is the quote. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream, which is a C.S. Lewis quote. And I'm pretty certain that I've used this somewhere before. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty certain I have. So I've knocked a heap of client work over, and in the last couple of weeks I've actually had a lot more time for me, which is great because I finished the first draft of my icon drawing book, so for visual note taking. I've finished the whole thing, like written everything up, and people are currently reviewing it for me, so that's all very fantastic and exciting. It's taken about 18 months with, some very busy scheduling of client work. It sort of stopped me being able to focus on it over periods of time, but it's finally done. And now I just have to sort of, have it proofread and make sure that it's all okay. And then I can send it off to the printer. So just painting up the quote, I'll get back to talk about that in a second, but just painting up the quote now. And again, like I started with the quote, what I did was drew a box around it and put some flowers and a heap of vines, because I just really felt like filling up the page this month with the quote. And I started putting the colour on. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the colour palette again, but not very much. I started putting the colour on and decided that maybe if I put one of my golds into it and, put a bit of metallic in, that'll lift it up a bit and I'll feel a little bit happier about it all. So this is my Calero Arabic gold, so pearl colours Arabic gold, which I bought from New Norfolk, a shop called Flywheel. So if you are Tasmanian based, particularly if you are Hobart based and you have not been to New Norfolk and visited Flywheel, what are you doing with your life? Please go and do that. It is a fantastic store and we love going there, and I spend way too much money there, but what are you going to do? But yeah, I do find like having the gold accent and the gold leafing and everything in it, like I was very happy with how the quote came out. So that's always a bonus. The first week, I've gone back to my standard way of drawing succulents. So there are 3 pots with succulents in them. I find that I like putting them in pots like this. The main reason is the pots can do the heavy lifting on colour, because most succulents are a shade of green. And, when you put them all together, I did add some accent in different colours on that first page, because really, in the pot looking down, all you really see is the succulents. So you sort of got to try and find other colour where you can. But yeah, the pots allow me to play around with colour and make it a little bit brighter. So my book. So I'm not getting it professionally edited, and this is the first of my books that I haven't gotten professionally edited. And it's largely because there's not a lot of writing in it, and it's not like it needs to flow in storyline or anything else. It really is just a case of, here are some points. Yeah, when you're drawing these things, remember to do this. The easiest way to do this is to start with this. So it doesn't really need to be edited. It needs to be proofread. I've done one myself. I've got 2 people proofreading it at the moment, and I will go through and do like another proof as well, because I'm actually sending this one off to a printer to get 500 copies printed, which is a bit of a daunting task. We're on week 2, and the succulent that I'm drawing is more of like a tree, the tree shape type succulents, so very long stems. I've not drawn that one before, and I quite like drawing the stems with all the lines on them. So yeah, I'll probably include that when I draw succulents in future as well, because I quite liked it. So I'm going to a printer and getting 500 copies offset printed, and not using a print on demand service like I normally do. And partly the reason for that is just to challenge myself and do something different. But no, the main reason is that I wanted it to be offset printed because the colour is just a bit better than digital printing. It just is. And the second part of that is that I didn't want just a glued binding. I wanted it to be stitched and glued. So it's a bit like the journal that I'm using at the moment. They're stitched and glued, which means that they lay flatter. And I wanted this book to lay flatter than the other ones that I've had done print on demand. So yeah, I decided that I was going to get this offset printed, which is a daunting task. Just quickly, we're in week 3, and I've got a collection of 5 pots with succulents in them, and these are all succulents that I've drawn a lot. This is where I changed the colour palette over to my Decadent Pies colour palette, which, look, certain colours were sitting quite well, but a few others, again, flattened out. So who knows? I won't talk about it. But yeah, so I'm using a printer in China, and it's one of those interesting things because it's like, okay, so it's going to take a week to get the book printed. And it's like, that's awesome. And then it's going to take 8 weeks to ship it to Australia because it's sea shipping. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay. So I won't have a book to show you for a while, but I will actually do an unboxing video and show you what the book looks like once I do have them, because I'm very excited about this one. It's a bit of a departure from the sort of other things that I've done, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I really hope that it is a useful resource for people. So yeah, I'll do that when I eventually have it, which probably won't end up being until early September, quite frankly. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, the 4th week we have, again, just a single succulent in a bowl, and this one's got a flower coming out of the top of it. And again, I honestly don't know, like, you can watch this colour, like it goes on and it's looking okay for a bit, and then it looks like too much of it is soaked into the paper. Anyway, look, I'm not going to talk about it. All right, so July, like I said, I don't have a lot of client work, which I'm quite looking forward to having some more time for me. And, I've got a few different things planned, which I'm sure I will share at the end of July when I'm drawing up August. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty good month, I think, which will be nice. It's getting very cold. Like, we've had a massive frost here this morning, so winter is well and truly here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to sort of hopefully getting some snow. Like, fingers crossed I'm going to get snow. Look, we only get snow for like a day here or there, so I enjoy the snow, and our house is very much built to deal with cold weather, so it's fine. So I understand that that's not the same for everybody, but I enjoy it. The last month, because there's not much to it, the last week, of the month, I've just done a half, like one page that's got everything on it, and then the reflection page next to it. So here is my bullet journal for July. I hope that you liked it. I'm sorry if I bleated too much about my colour palette and paper. And I hope that you had a great June. I really hope you have a nice July, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of it for August. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Bye.